turn them off
Okay.
until,
Same as typical,
yeah.
same as regular, when you want to speak, you have to turn it on.
Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of the Auburn Transportation Benefit District to order. City Clerk, will you please call roll? Or Clerk for the TBD, would you please call roll?
Chairperson Backus,
Here.
Member Baggett. Here. Member DeCoursey.
I'm here.
And
Please note that Member DeCoursey is here via telephone.
I'm here via telephone, see, yes.
Member Holman.
Here.
Member Wagner.
Here.
Member Pelosa.
excused on city travel.
Member Trout Manuel.
She has a doctor's appointment.
Member Wells.
She declined the meeting. Okay, we will move forward. We have one resolution on the agenda this evening, and it is it's a resolution that the board has previously made a motion on, and then at the last Auburn Transportation Benefit District meeting, there was a motion to table this for 120 days. And so that motion, let's see, the board previously approved Resolution 2016-01 on December 13th, 2016. And then on February 22nd, 2017, the board took further action to postpone that resolution for 120 days. The 120-day time period expires on June 22nd, 2017. So the purpose of the item on the agenda today is for the board to determine the next steps for Resolution 2016-01. And let me state, before I read what those options are, that we owe Councilmember DeCoursey a huge amount of gratitude, because had Councilmember DeCoursey not been generous enough to call into this meeting, there would not have been a meeting in time for prior to the expiration of the 120-day postponement, and resolution number 2016-01 would have gone into effect without any Transportation Benefit District Board action. So thank you, Member DeCoursey, for your willingness to call in while you are away on city business. And so I will move forward then with the options that are available to the board today. Option number 1 is to continue to postpone the resolution for an additional duration as determined by the board. This would require that the board convene an additional meeting prior to that next expiration, similar to this meeting today. Option 2 is to postpone the resolution indefinitely, and option 3 is to take action on the resolution. So at this time, because there is a resolution on the floor, is that correct, Mr. Attorney?
That would be correct, but the resolution that's on the, that is the 2016-01 has actually already been approved, so it's a matter of what we do with it.
All right. So then I open it up for discussion at this point, or do we need another motion as to what to do with it before there is any discussion?
It would be appropriate for there to be a motion and subsequent debate.
All right. Board Member Holman.
Point of inquiry, we have a quorum of 4, and so tonight's vote, will that require a unanimous vote, or just a majority of those present?
Okay, and actually, just so that you know, this was an issue that I wanted to make sure I had an answer for you. There are some instances where votes require a majority of the body itself, regardless of what the quorum might be. That is not the case here. I could find nothing to indicate that a majority of those constituting a quorum would be insufficient. So you could decide it by 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4. Okay. All right. Would anyone like to make a motion as to what needs to be done or what you would like to see done moving forward? Board Member Wagner.
I would move that we postpone this further, and I have several reasons for that, but I would propose another
Okay, we have a motion to,
Madam Chair, this is
Yes.
Member DeCoursey.
yes,
Could you restate that, please? I couldn't hear Member Wagner's statement.
yes, Member Wagner is choosing option one, made a motion for option one to continue to postpone the resolution for an additional duration as determined by the board, and this would require that the board convene an additional meeting prior to the expiration, similar to the meeting that is being held today.
Okay, thank you.
So we have a motion, so do you want to postpone indefinitely, or?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I think at least I understood, as I was trying to keep track of things, the motion was for an additional 120 days.
You're right, I'm sorry. All right, so the motion currently is for an additional 120-day extension. Is there a second?
This is Member DeCoursey. I'll second the motion.
Okay, Board Member Baggett beat you to it just by a moment, so
Okay.
probably the delay on
I
the
didn't see his
phone.
hand.
Board Member DeCoursey, I know you couldn't see his hand. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this motion? Board Member Wagner.
I'm a member of the Transportation Policy Board.
Can you-
Yes.
Rich, could you move your microphone closer so Claude can hear you?
I'm a member of the Transportation Policy Board for the Puget Sound Regional Council, and the last meeting was a discussion around financial strategies for funding transportation projects in general. And I was pleased to see that group seems to be sympathetic to a street maintenance utility, which I have championed for a long time, but Olympia has not allowed us to have. However, now that the Transportation Policy Board is beginning to find some value in a street maintenance utility, I think that might happen, and that would actually get us enough money to do the job. Where the $800,000 we get from $20 tab is only about 20% of what we really need every year to do the work we need to do. So I think it makes sense to postpone a little longer. The other thing I wanted to discuss is I wondered whether Olympia had managed to pass some kind of a law this session that would allow us to exempt certain categories of people from the $20 tab. I haven't heard the result. I know Senator Fain was working on it, but I don't know what happened.
Board Member Wagner, I have not heard any action or activity being taken with the exemptions for cities under 500,000 population to be able to do an exemption. Right now, I think the main focus for the legislators is to pass a budget that includes full funding for the McCleary decision. And so, since they are almost to the point of having to extend for a third special session, I would highly doubt that they would get to anything this year, but they have surprised us before, so we should never count them out. But I have not heard of any activity recently. Councilmember DeCoursey, do you have any comments?
No, I think your last statement, Madam Chair, answered the question I was going to ask, so that clarifies it.
All right. Do any of the other board members have any comments or thoughts? Board Member Baggett?
I believe that our ad hoc committee that we're reviewing these issues right now is not complete with any of their evaluations, and I believe that it would be in the best interest of the issue to continue the ad hoc meetings and hopefully bring these to a resolution that is basically in the best interest of all of our people.
Okay, thank you. Board Member Holman, any comments? All right, seems that we have exhausted comments, so the motion on the floor is to continue to postpone the resolution number 2016-01 for an additional duration of 120 days, and that would require that the board convene an additional meeting prior to the expiration of those 120 days. And I'm assuming it's 120 days from, is it today or from June 22nd?
I would construe the motion as being 120 days from today, the day of the action.
From today. All right, thank you very much. So the motion will be 120-day extension from today's date. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed say no. The motion passes unanimously, and again, I want to say thank you to the board members here in person and to Board Member DeCoursey on the phone, because without your attendance today, we would have not had a quorum, and we would have simply had the resolution go into effect, which would have meant that license tabs, $20 license tab fees would have started to be collected by the state and remitted to the city of Auburn. So thank you very much. With that, we are
Absolutely, thank you.
adjourned.